from South Africa.
Well, the time is just headed for 5:30 p.m. as we continue with our broadcast right here on Saleh Media, the Iftar Drive, the very first edition of the Iftar Drive for this year, Ramadan, right here on Saleh Media. And I will be with you Mondays to Fridays from 4 o'clock right until the time of Iftar in Johannesburg, which is at around 18 minutes past 6 in Johannesburg. So just around 48 minutes for the time of Iftar to set in here in Johannesburg. But nevertheless, we will continue and we will continue bringing you news, views, interesting stories, and also at the same time bringing you inspiration that we all seek in this month of Ramadan. And this week, we are talking also about Israel Apartheid Week. And from the BDS movement, Saleh Hijazi, who is currently in South Africa to attend the Israel Apartheid Week events. And also there have been a war of words with UCT student bodies. And this came against a background of messages that were screened from Hamas and from Islamic Jihad. So we've got right now with us Saleh Hijazi, who is in the country from the BDS movement, coming on screen. And we've also got Anwar the president of the Palestine Solidarity Forum at UCT. Saleh, to you, assalamu alaikum and welcome.
Walaikum salam. Thank you very much. Ramadan Kareem.
Ramadan Kareem to you as well, and also to you, Anwar Adam. Assalamu alaikum, and we appreciate your time with us this afternoon.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh and Ramadan Kareem.
Yes. Saleh, let's just talk about Israel Apartheid Week. And, it is coming clearly in this month of Ramadan, which is extremely relevant in a sense because we've seen it over and over again. Palestine, Al-Aqsa in the spotlight, under the radar in the month of Ramadan. And we see these atrocities committed or stepped up to another level in the month of Ramadan by this Zionist regime, and against the background of Apartheid Week and this month of Ramadan. Just your thoughts, Saleh?
This is the Israel Apartheid Week is a time to strengthen the solidarity with the Palestinian people and bring up the actions that end the complicity in Zionist crimes against our people. And yes, you are right. We are very privileged this year that there's a coincidence between Israel Apartheid Week and the holy month of Ramadan, which is usually a month where the apartheid Israeli regime elevates its violence and aggression against our people in Palestine, particularly in Jerusalem. If you remember, Jerusalem is a point, particularly around the Old City and Damascus Gate, and of course Al-Aqsa compound is an area where the Israeli regime believes that it is a confrontation. It is where it needs to win in order to reinforce its domination and oppression over the Palestinian people. In 2018, the Israeli regime tried to install metal detectors on the entrances to Al-Aqsa compound. That, of course, was completely rejected by the Palestinian people. And we've seen one of the most brilliant and massive demonstrations and protests by Palestinians in Jerusalem. Because you have to remember, part of apartheid is a fragmentation of Palestinians, is putting them in different territories and controlling them in different ways. And Jerusalem, of course, is one that is excluded from the rest of Palestinian society, who live also in the open-air prison in Gaza, the rest of the West Bank, of course, Palestinian refugees who remain the largest population of the Palestinians. So they keep it away. They keep Jerusalem away from the rest of Palestinian society. But then Jerusalemites were able to defeat in 2018, the Israeli regime, the apartheid regime's attempts to control access to what is rightly the Palestinians, and of course for all Muslims and free people around the world. In 2001, that repeated when the Israeli regime tried to prevent Palestinians from using the Damascus Gate area, which is traditionally an area during Ramadan where Palestinians come after iftar to socialize, to celebrate, to sing, to eat, to drink sahlab and tea, and the other things that our communities do after iftar. And that restriction was completely also rejected, and we've seen massive protests. At the same time, there was the ultra right wing in Zionist society who were trying to march on this area to try again. There's a program of ethnic cleansing that is continuing in many different ways. You can see it in home demolitions. You can see it in restrictions when it comes to the old city, Al-Aqsa compound, and Jerusalem more generally. You can see it in the killings. In the past 12 months, we've seen a massive rise in the number of murder by the Zionist regime against Palestinians. Over 70 have been killed, a quarter of which are children since the beginning of this year alone. So yes, Ramadan is a time when Palestinians confront the Zionist regime, and it must be a time when people around the world stand in solidarity with the Palestinians, not just by raising slogans, but acting to end the complicity of their countries, of companies that are domiciled in their countries in the crimes that are committed against the Palestinian people. And South Africa is a country where ties with the Zionist regime still remain, and where there are Israeli companies that work in South Africa, where South Africans still go and serve in the Zionist army that occupies, murders, and demolishes Palestinian homes. And so there is a responsibility. And we hope that the month of Ramadan, coinciding with the Israel Apartheid Week, will be this moment of effective solidarity, of ending complicity with apartheid and settler colonialism.
Well, certainly, Saleh, and I just want to bring Anwar Adams into the discussion. Now, Anwar, the incidents that obviously had taken place at UCT, we've heard about the war of words as far as the students are concerned, and this come against the background of taking exception to the fact that messages from Palestine, Islamic Jihad, and Hamas was screened at the event that was hosted by the Palestinian Solidarity Forum. And we've seen even the South African Jewish Board of Deputies now, expressing that how appalled they are by this event that was held at the University of Cape Town. What can you tell us about this, Anwar?
No, you see, there's a very important point that we as UCT PSF want to bring. Firstly, our slogan for this year, for Israeli Apartheid Week, is Liberation or Martyrdom. And this year we're trying to highlight the parallels between the South African and the Palestinian resistance. So Hamas, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, Hezbollah, and Iran are not recognized as terrorist organizations in the Republic of South Africa. Nelson Mandela, the founder of MK and the first democratically elected president in South Africa, was listed actually on the United States government terrorist watch list until 2008. And now the same party and its allies, like the Zionist lobby, wants to tell us today that the Palestinians are terrorists. So we as South Africans and the UCT PSF will never accept Nelson Mandela as a terrorist, and neither the Palestinian resistance. So this kind of logic, if it was before 2008, they wouldn't allow Nelson Mandela to speak at UCT and the universities. So we find this kind of hypocritical.
Well, it certainly is. And just take us through, the UCT student societies, and how have they actually reacted to these statements, and also the behavior or the response of the South African Jewish Board of Deputies. How has this gone down with the student population?
So we have many allies on campus, student societies on campus, but we don't really deal directly with the Jewish society on campus, neither South African Jewish Board of Deputies. We just released a statement, but with regards to the student response, there was many positive response. UCT gave a neutral response, which we were pleased with. But yet the Jewish society, it was only them that had a problem with it. as they do with everything. Whenever we oppose the apartheid state of Israel and criticize them, then they immediately label it as anti-Semitism. So we can't expect much from them.
Well, certainly, definitely, Andrew. Let's just bring Saleh Hijazi back into the discussion, and just against the background of what has happened at the University of Cape Town, and we see it over and over again, where we find the Jewish lobby, Saleh, trying to exert its influence over educational institutions, over government, over civil society, and they're trying very, very hard. And this is where we look at the BDS movement, and to a large extent, the BDS movement had been able to counter this propaganda that has been existed for a very, very long time, particularly the Jewish lobby groups. And we know that many of them are very, very powerful. They have huge influence over governments. They have huge influence over business. You mentioned the whole thing surrounding the South African links with the Zionist entity from a business perspective, and also other areas as well. So this is something that we need to be watchful of. We need to be aware of, and more importantly, we must be able to counter all these threats that come from lobby groups like the Jewish Board of Deputies.
Yes, absolutely. The Israeli government has, for many years, considered that the BDS movement a strategic threat and has put in massive resources to try to criminalize the BDS movement, to shut down spaces for it, to restrict its activities, including by actually a whole ministry that was called the Ministry of Strategic Affairs, that was created with the sole purpose of trying to combat the BDS movement. But we stand strong. We stand strong on our principles of non-discrimination, non-racism, non-violence, and our strategic focus of ending complicity, boycotting Israel, alienating Israel outside. This is where we are able to get successes with companies divesting from Israel, incurring massive economic loss, by governments speaking up now. We have around 10 states, including South Africa, Namibia, Malaysia, and others who have addressed and criticized Israel's apartheid in UN fora, the Human Rights Council, UN General Assembly, and other places. And it's ultimately then to impose sanctions on Israel. This is what the BDS stands for: boycott, divestment, and sanctions, a non-violent movement that works effectively to isolate Israel and have it pay a price for these crimes that it systematically commits against the Palestinian people. Now, we expect, of course, that the Zionist regime has setups, different organizations in different countries that try to silence, that try to restrict, that try to criminalize. But we stand strong because we are right. We have the ethical, moral high ground here. We have partners and affiliates all around the world who are supported by grassroots organizations, trade unions, and others who are able to stand together firm on principles that speak for the whole of humanity. Look, our movement is anchored on three main values. It is one, the indivisibility of justice. And I believe South Africans can relate to this very much because it is inspired by what Madiba has said, that until the Palestinians are free, we remain unfree here. Sorry, I'm paraphrasing here rather than quoting, but which means that an injustice somewhere means that there's no justice anywhere. So the indivisibility of justice is one. Two, the intersectionality of struggle, the connection between the struggle for freedom, justice, and equality in Palestine and the freedom and the struggles for justice, freedom, and equality elsewhere, including here in South Africa and across the mother continent and the global South. And three, and I think this is very important when it comes to solidarity activists, is the profound ethical duty to do no harm in your name to other struggles for justice. What would be most effective for people who want to act in solidarity with Palestinians elsewhere, including here in South Africa, is first and foremost to ensure that their government, their companies, their organizations have in no way any complicity with Israeli crimes that are committed against the Palestinian people. And unfortunately, we still see that complicity here, the place where apartheid was defeated, where people should really identify with what it means to live under systematic oppression and domination, that until now we see the complicity strong. So it's an uphill battle, but we are equipped through the strength of power. And this is the title of the Israel Apartheid Week this year. It's people against apartheid, because this is really what's going to bring change. This is what holds us strong against these attacks, against restrictions, against the repression. And this is what ultimately will have us win for a liberated Palestine.
Well, Saleh, to you and Anwar, we're going to put you on hold. I'm going to pay a few bills. We're just going for a few ad breaks. We'll be back.
Prophet Muhammad, may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, say, in black seed there is a healing for every disease except death. This Ramadan, experience the health benefits of this ancient blessed seed by using the Tib Black Seed range. Black seed assists the body to boost immunity, regulate blood sugar levels, reduce inflammation, and act as a potent antioxidant. Experience a holistic approach to health by introducing the Tib Black Seed range into your Ramadan routine. Available in capsules, pure cold-pressed oil, and a vapor rub. Trust Tib Health Sciences for quality black seed products. For more information, visit blackseed.co.za. Available at leading pharmacies.
Looking to earn inflation-beating income? Agraria Sustainability Engineered, Africa's first publicly traded Sharia-compliant sukuk on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, provides regulated and transparent access to superior and sustainable investment opportunities in the agriculture value chain. Agrarius is brought to you by 274, leaders in Sharia-compliant investing. Don't get left behind. WhatsApp 011 442 2467 or visit 274.com for more. 274 Investment Managers is an authorized financial services provider. T's and C's apply.
Conveniently located along the banks of the Crocodile River bordering the Kruger National Park. As a guest at Buckler's Africa Lodge, one can enjoy an amazing sunrise or sunset on our spacious deck area while you catch a glimpse of some wildlife sightings along the Crocodile River. The sounds of the African savannah will greet you whilst you enjoy your morning coffee. Buckler's Africa Lodge by Tingana Collection. Buckler's Africa Lodge is ideally situated only 6 kilometers from the Crocodile Bridge Gate in the Kruger National Park. Catering for all travelers with variety, we have 4 types of the finest rooms: superior rooms, deluxe suites, and 2-bedroomed family units. Each room is equipped with the finest amenities to make your stay unforgettable. Guests can choose between the self-catering option or book their accommodation with breakfast and dinner included. Buckler's Africa Lodge is your ideal location for the ultimate Kruger getaway experience. We specialize in exhilarating and educational game drives in Kruger, tailor-made to suit your family. Inquire about our various accommodation offerings and other activities. Visit www.tingana.co.za for more information. Buckler's Africa Lodge by Tingana Collection. Experience the pulse of Africa with us.
Help us ease the hunger burdens of those in need by donating to the Sanzaf Meals Project. For just 12 Rand, you can provide a freshly prepared meal to an individual. And with your commitment to a monthly contribution, we can reach out to even more communities and deserving individuals. Call us on 011 834 6046 to learn more about this life-changing initiative. Sanzaf, changing lives through development and relief.
From samosas and half moons to cook sisters and roti, everything between iftar and sehri makes sunfoil cooking oil an essential part of your Ramadan. Approved by the Heart and Stroke Foundation as part of a healthy diet, this blessed month, give your family the best with sunfoil, because tradition just tastes better.
You are listening to Salam Media live from our headquarters in South Africa. This is Salam Media, keeping you company.
Well, the time is just gone 12 minutes to 6 p.m. As we head towards iftar here in Johannesburg. And we continue our discussion this afternoon talking about Israel Apartheid Week. We've got Saleh Hijazi from the BDS movement currently in South Africa attending the Israel Apartheid Week events. And we've also got Anwar Adams, and he is with the University of Cape Town and also the president of the Palestine Solidarity Forum. And I want to go straight to Anwar as well, where Anwar, when I just look at the response to the South African Jewish Board of Deputies, and where they are making claims that these statements that were played by Islamic Jihad and also Hamas are promoting violence against Israel. And you are obviously on record saying that it has been an established practice by the South African Union of Jewish Students, together with bodies like the Jewish Board of Deputies, to bring even Israeli military officials and those that served in the Israeli Defense Force to campuses to terrorize students like yourselves.
Yes, that's the unfortunate reality. They actually invited one of the Zionist IDF commander to the University of Pretoria, or better known as Tax. So yeah, we just have that concern, and if they had to require us to remove our speakers, the Hamas and the Palestinian Islamic Jihad representative, that would be very hypocritical. And if they were using that basis, it would be more fitting for their speakers to leave, because the humanitarian organizations and the human rights organizations, large ones internationally recognized, like Amnesty International, recognizes Israel as an apartheid state. So when they invite soldiers from the Israeli apartheid state, they are Zionists, and they are actually the real terrorists. So we say that. I said earlier that we want to highlight the parallels between the South African resistance and the Palestinian resistance, and all simply put, Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad are liberation movements. And on that point, we want to also highlight a call to the South African government that we have. Our comrades have highlighted about 10 IDF soldiers from South Africa that are serving in the Israeli army against the Foreign Military Assistance Act in South Africa. So, and there are evidence against this, and we're only waiting for the NPA or the National Prosecuting Authority to take an action on this. So this is something we look forward to, and it's in line with Al Jamaa's party, the party of Al Jamaa in South Africa.
Well, shukran for that, and we certainly will watch that space as well. And just finally, Saleh, we are in the month of Ramadan, and you mentioned earlier on solidarity for the people of Palestine, and it is clearly going to show. And looking at Aqsa as well, with the month of Ramadan, Aqsa, many people from across the entire world will be going there. I mean, obviously, Al-Aqsa spiritually means a lot to Muslims right across the world. But it is together with that, it is a solidarity, it is a love of Aqsa, it is a love of the Palestinian people that is going to draw many people from around the world this Ramadan, like we've seen in many other Ramadans, to Al-Aqsa, just to show the people, or to tell the people of Palestine that we care for you. We're showing solidarity with you. And I think even when one looks at many other aspects, going in there, contributing to the various causes, those particularly orphans, supporting the Palestinian economy, all of that is needed. And what better month than the month of Ramadan to do all of this, Saleh?
Yeah, thanks you, brother. And I think the real and effective solidarity really is local, is here, is to look where, for example, at universities, there are academic cooperation, and to ensure that there's an academic boycott of Zionist institutions. To look on arts and culture and see where there are the artists who are being use in art washing Israeli crimes. South African musicians and artists who are used in art washing Israeli crimes against Palestinian people, and to campaign against that. To ensure that, for example, Puma, that is a sportswear company that is very popular here in South Africa and across the continent, that is complicit in Israeli crimes against the Palestinian people by sponsoring those teams that encroach on Palestinian lands, and the Israel Football Association and other sports associations, to ensure that this will not be allowed, that we will not buy from you, we will not wear your clothes until you end your complicity with apartheid Israel. And to look at the companies that exist here. When I was here last time, there was the strike by workers in the clover factories, when an Israeli company, the CBC, bought majority shares of that company. That was a brilliant, inspiring move by the workers that I think should be built on. And there are many other examples. So-called Israeli water experts. We have a forum during the Human Rights Festival that will be held at the Constitution Hill on Sunday. Invite everybody to come and listen. It looks at water injustice here in South Africa, and apartheid and water apartheid in Palestine, and how Israel tries to greenwash or blue wash using so-called water technologies to come here and have a further kind of foothold in South Africa. So look locally, look where your companies, your government, your institutions have relations with the Zionist regime, and campaign to end this complicity. This is the most effective solidarity that we, the Palestinian people, are asking from South Africans and everyone who cares about freedom, justice, and equality, who cares for the liberation of Palestine around the world.
Well, Jazakallah khairan so much for that, Saleh. To you and to Anwar, for both of you joining us on this broadcast this afternoon on this very first day of Ramadan on the Iftar Drive. We wish both of you well, inshallah, and please take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm just looking quickly at a message on screen. Shamima Dolly Saleh saying, historically in Ramadan, the Zionists target Palestinians even more, and these activists are creating awareness, which is crucial. Shukran for that message, Shamima Dolly, and saying she's so proud of this young man, Anwar Adams. May Allah reward you abundantly for your efforts for the people of Palestine. There you have it, Brother Anwar. Jazakallah for that and for your messages, Sister Shamima. To both of you, all the best. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam.
Against the background of Israel Apartheid Week, and also the South African Jewish Board of Deputies raising their concerns about the statements that were played out by Islamic Jihad and Hamas at the UCT event, and that is the reason why we were talking to the two gentlemen. Well, the time is just gone 4 minutes to 6, and we are heading very, very fast for the time of Iftar in Johannesburg, which is going to be at around 18 minutes past 6. I know Durban Iftar time is going to be at around 4 minutes past 6. So Durban is not long to go. They've got about 8 minutes for the time of Iftar to set in. But right now we're going to go for a quick break. We come back and we will then take the nasiha and the dua that will take us through to the time of Iftar in Johannesburg, inshallah.